my beauties. My name is Dr. Stefani Kappel and I'm a board-certified fellowship-trained cosmetic dermatologist in Newport Beach, California. Did you hear that? What is going on? Okay, cut. Hi my beauties, my name is Dr. Stefani Kappel and I'm a board-certified fellowship-trained cosmetic dermatologist in Newport Beach, California, and today I'm going to be doing a video on skincare while traveling because currently I'm in Positano, Italy on the Amalfi Coast, and we've been in Europe for the last week and a half and we still have a little bit of traveling to do, and just kind of seeing how my own skin is reacting to the different climate, the changes in the weather. My diet is a little bit different, my hydration status is different, and it's just really interesting to see how the skin responds when you're in different situations and in different environments. And so I've even had to adapt my own skincare regimen to kind of accommodate the changes that I've noticed in my own skin while traveling. So hopefully I'm able to do this video before the sun goes down because the light is going to probably change, but I'm just in our hotel room now and you can see my skin is kind of shiny because I've been reapplying sunscreen throughout the day. I actually set a timer on my phone for every 2 hours to reapply my sunscreen. I put a base coat of my sunscreen on in the morning, but when we're out and we're swimming and we're in the water or out in the sun with a lot of outdoor exposure, of course I wear a hat and I photo protect with clothing as much as I can, but using sunscreen and reapplying it is key and probably the most important thing to do while traveling. But before I move on, I ask that you like, subscribe, and share this channel with anyone who wants non-sponsored content from a board-certified dermatologist. So on YouTube, the reason why I do these videos is because I feel like I spent so much of my life, learning and studying the skin as a dermatologist and as a procedural dermatologist that I like to share that information with you guys, especially when most of the options on YouTube are either people that have sponsored content, some type of hidden agenda, or they're self-proclaimed skin experts, but they've never attended a dermatology residency or an ACGME accredited procedural dermatology fellowship, or they may have just Googled something and just now are claiming themselves as skin experts. And I feel like there's a lot of fake science out there, a lot of marketing influence, and I just want to be a source of reason and honesty and truthfulness in a field where it's highly contaminated with people who haven't really taken the correct path to get here. And so the reason why I post this content is just to educate you guys, and I love having our safe forum on YouTube where we can exchange ideas. I love your comments. I read them all. I see them all. I may not be able to get back to them, especially when I'm in the office, during the work week because I'm seeing patients and doing procedures, but I feel like it's really important to have a safe community of subscribers, and I just love doing these videos for you guys and just appreciate the feedback and letting me know what you guys want to hear about and what else you want me to post on. Okay, so getting back to the skin and during travel, how things may change. Now, depending on the environment, the humidity of the ambient air and the hydration status of your skin can actually make your skin more or less susceptible to irritation from different actives that your skin is usually used to on a regular basis. And it's a little bit of a disruption within, the basement membrane layer or the barrier, the skin barrier of the skin, but it also has to do with the amount of hydration and how much that has changed in the skin to allow certain antigens, pathogens, irritants to get into the skin that can ignite some type of immune response or irritation response to the skin that usually you don't have. So when you're going into a drier climate or a climate that's at increased altitude where the hydration of the air can drop, using misters and steamers is not really practical because it's not like you're going to travel with one of those, but sometimes you can ask hotels if they have, hydration steamers and diffusers and have them in your room and have them ready before you even arrive. So that may be something that you want to consider if you're going to a dry climate or a place where, you're at altitude a little bit like in the mountains, because your skin will really have its barrier compromised and you won't be able to tolerate things like AHAs, BAHAs, retinoic acid, vitamin A derivatives, or vitamin C, ascorbic acid, things of that nature where you usually can. So the first thing is to maybe control your environment if you're in a dry climate or at altitude. The second thing that you can adjust is your diet and your diet and hydration status. And so when you have your diet change, your skin is an outward representation of your internal health. If you're eating foods that have like a high glycemic index, or now we're in Italy where I'm trying to stay away from carbs, but it's pretty much impossible. And I think carbs don't count here because you walk it all off anyway. But when your skin has, gluten or, a high glycemic index foods, or you're eating dairy, skin that you don't usually. I mean, your skin can really react to what's going on inside and your gut health too. So just keep in mind, although you're traveling, try to stay and not deviate too far off your diet that you usually do, or just do little things at a time. If you don't usually eat dairy and you're in Italy, try not to do, too much cheese and too much ice cream and gelato, and, also having high glycemic index food in addition to dairy. Just kind of ease your body into it so that you don't get a breakout, you don't get a flare of inflammatory dermatosis if you have something like seborrheic dermatitis, if you have rosacea, if you have acne. So things of that nature, just kind of like not shock your system, and just try to stick to as much of your normal diet as you can and ease your way into it. See how your skin does. And so that's something that you have to consider when traveling, because your skin can definitely freak out and do things that it doesn't usually do when you're at home. So I know if you guys follow me that you guys are into skin, you're into skincare, and you guys have a pretty amazing skincare routine. So most skincare routines will include, some type of vitamin A derivative, some type of antioxidant, some type of AHA or BHA, some type of hydrator or moisturizer, an eye serum, hopefully, and some type of photoprotection. So if you usually are on those actives, you want to bring all those with you on your trip. And you're not going to bring these huge, bottles that are more than 3 ounces that, the airline or airport's going to confiscate you at security. There's nothing that hurts more than when the airport security takes away your skincare. And I've been known to go back in line and check my luggage because I'm not willing to part with my over 3 ounce skincare product. And I've actually missed a flight from that because of it. But it was worth it because I don't think I could have gone on that trip without my skincare product. But I think it's really important to remember that you don't want to pick and choose too much, because sometimes if you're on, a trip and you say you only brought your retinol or your vitamin A derivative and you didn't bring your hydrator, you didn't bring your eye serum, I think it's really important to just have everything in your armamentarium and be ready, and just take a smaller size of each of them. So if you're going to be traveling for a few days or 1 week or 2 weeks or even more, just kind of know how many pumps you use in a day. And you can even just get these like little travel size, like little pots, and just keep them and label them. If you're neurotic about skin like I am, I know that this probably won't be too much for you guys. Other people may think we're crazy, but you basically just take everything you have and label it, and do as many pumps as many days that you're going to be in the place where you're traveling. So if you're using a product twice a day, do usually 1 pump for each time that you're going to be using that product, and just label it and take it with you. You may not use the vitamin A derivative when you're traveling because your skin may be too dry or irritated, or you may not feel like you need to use your hydrator as much because you're somewhere that is very humid or tropical, like say you're going to Hawaii or the tropics. You're going to probably not use your hydrator as much, but you never know how your skin's going to react. And it's really important to just kind of have everything in your armamentarium, because I think most of us when we travel are like, oh, I'm just not going to use my vitamin A, I won't use my vitamin C, I'm just going to use a hydrator and some facial wash. And then your skin freaks out because you're in a different climate, your diet is different, and it's exposed to all these triggers that are going to cause inflammation, and then you don't have the tools in your toolbox to kind of combat that. So I think it's better to have everything in a smaller volume and a smaller amount than just pick and choose one thing or another, because your skin may shock you and surprise you and not tolerate one product that you have, and may require a product that you didn't happen to pack. And then you're in a situation where you have to go try to buy some skincare product wherever you are. And even being in Positano, Italy today, I had to go find some dry shampoo and I couldn't find it, let alone if I had to find a skincare product. I don't think, I would be able to find the exact one that I wanted. So especially medical grade skincare. So I think it's really important to just have everything ready and take everything that you usually use, whether you need it or you use it or not. Okay, so last but certainly not least, the most important is photoprotection. Especially if you're, at an altitude where you don't have the ozone protecting your skin from the ultraviolet light and radiation that can damage the skin. Also, if you're in a hot or sunny area, even if you go to somewhere where it's cooler or it's cloudy or it's raining, always wear your sunscreen. Of course, you always have to photoprotect. Now, depending on where you are, you won't have to be as overzealous with reapplying your sunscreen as I was yesterday. We were on this boat and we were just jumping off and snorkeling and swimming around in these really cool caves and coves, and I literally had to reapply my sunscreen probably like, every 2 hours. I have a timer set on my phone, but I would even reapply once I was in the water, just in case, some of my sunscreen got washed off. But it was really important to remember to photo protect and pack enough sunscreen for your face, neck, chest, body. And also, I'm a big advocate of HelioCare. If you guys aren't familiar with HelioCare is an antioxidant supplement. We use it in dermatology for photo protection and anti-aging. It also is like an internal sunscreen. It has an element called Polypodium leukotomus, which is a fern-based plant enzyme that helps repair damaged DNA, and it also helps in plants. The way plants make it is to protect their DNA from photo damage that can happen to the cells when exposed to light. And so Polypodium leukotomas in HelioCare can help photoprotect from kind of the inside. So it's not a replacement of external sunscreen. Of course, we want you to use your sunscreen and reapply it, but taking HelioCare every day, I think, is a really worthwhile supplement to be on while you're traveling. And other areas of medicine use HelioCare. They use it in neurology, they use it in immunology. It helps boost the immune system and helps prevent against Alzheimer's and other neurologic agents too. But as dermatologists, of course, we love it for what it can do for our skin. So I always pack my HelioCare. I know some of you will ask the difference between HelioCare Advanced or Ultra or the regular. I just get the regular kind. You can get it on Amazon, you can get it at Walgreens, and it's just twice a day. The difference is the HelioCare Advanced has niacinamide in it. I take another supplement that has niacinamide in it, so I don't want to overdo niacinamide too much, which is why I don't take the Advanced. And the HelioCare Ultra has pomegranate extracts, which I also get in another supplement of mine. So I'm going to do a whole supplement YouTube video shortly. I did one about a year ago, but I think HelioCare, just the regular HelioCare, is more than you need, especially when traveling. So remember, when you're at altitude, when you're in sunny climates, it's really important to photo protect and reapply, because when you're out and you're having fun and you're traveling and you're swimming, you're drinking, it's hard to remember to reapply. So just even set a timer on your phone if you can. And even if you're not in a hot, sunny, high altitude climate, it's really important to remember to photo protect even if you're, in cloudy gray weather too, because the UV light can penetrate through the clouds. So it's important to photo protect when you're in a different territory, especially when you're traveling. So I wanted to tell you guys about what happened to me and my skin. So, we flew from LA to London, and during that trip, I had purchased 3 water bottles that were about 1 liter each, and so I maintained my fluid hydration status on the plane. And then, I really wanted to make sure that, my under eye area was protected. I used my MDR ECM eye serum. You want ceramides, you want lipids that are going to reinforce the skin barrier so that skin doesn't get dehydrated, especially at altitude when you're on a plane. So I actually would reapply my under eye serum regularly throughout the flight, and my NMF hydrator. So I used my MDR hydrator. Any hydrator that you guys have and that you use will definitely do the job. But when you're on the plane, make sure you're using your eye serum and your hydrator for your skin. And I was definitely able to do that on the flight. Now, when we went to Greece first. So when we got there, my skin was a little bit dry, a little bit irritated. I had used a tretinoin a couple days before the travel, and my skin could usually handle. I usually, use AHAs, retinol, and vitamin C and a hydrator morning and night. And I usually do that morning and night. When we got there, I couldn't use my vitamin C or my retinol because my skin was too dry. And that's even after, putting my extra hydrator and eye serum on. So I took a day off of that, and then I reintroduced my vitamin C, my L-ascorbic acid first. And I did okay with that. But then when I, tried to incorporate my retinol, my skin kind of freaked out. So I gave it a day and I took a break from that. But I really feel that it was just, my barrier being a little bit compromised. And once I kind of readjusted, having a couple of days just on a hydrator and an eye serum, then I could get back to my normal routine and use all my actives that I usually use morning and night. So again, active ingredients that you can usually tolerate can sometimes pass through more readily through an impaired basement membrane zone or impaired skin barrier when your hydration status is different, or when the ambient temperature hydration is different, and it can just make it more compromised. What happens is, say you use something like L-ascorbic acid or vitamin C on a day-to-day basis, and you have little holes in your skin barrier, more of it gets through than your skin's used to. And what happens is your immune cells, your inflammatory cascade comes in, and that makes you dry, irritated, and itchy. You have eosinophils, you have mast cells, you have lymphocytes, you have all kinds of immune cells, and they degranulate, they release histamine, and they release all these chemokines and inflammatory mediators that make you feel dry and itchy, and then that inflammation goes down and then you get scaly. So that's kind of like the pathogenesis of irritation when your barrier is compromised, and why you usually can't handle maybe active ingredients that you can on a normal basis. So just, take a day off, always use your hydrator or your moisturizer, and you usually will recover and be able to get back onto your normal skincare regimen. And then the last thing I want to say is acne and breakouts when traveling, especially if you're going to an area that is more humid, again, more tropical, or if your diet has changed and you're eating more high glycemic index foods or gluten. So it's really important to wash your face twice a day. You should always do that. But sometimes when you're traveling and you're more acne prone and you're going to a climate that's a little bit more humid, it may be a good idea to wash your face even 3 times a day. And doing that will help downregulate the sebaceous glands. You won't make as much sebum or as much oil, and using some type of an exfoliator, whether it's a chemical or a mechanical, maybe every day if you can tolerate it. See how your skin does. If it freaks out with every day, then maybe adjust it to every other day. But what happens is when you use an exfoliator, whether it's chemical or it's mechanical, it helps declog the pores. So when you look at a hair follicle, which we call a pilosebaceous unit in dermatology, it's basically a channel that leads from the lower part of the skin, the papillary and the reticular dermis, out into the surface of the skin. And you have these little vellus hairs. We say hair follicle, but it's not like hair like you have in the bearded area, or like terminal hair like on the head. They're these little baby fine vellus hairs, and they have a little channel that releases sweat and sebum to the top layer of the skin, and it's attached to a pilosebaceous unit. And when you get cells that are all sticky and kind of adhere to one another, it clogs that pore. And so you get this back clogging situation that happens that causes more inflammation, more irritation, more blood flow, and then you get pus and you get redness and you get increased blood flow, and that's why you get pustules and that's why you get acne. So it's really important to use some type of exfoliant and wash your face a little bit more frequently to get rid of those little sticky cells that can clog the pores and cause acne. And then also, if you have any underlying dermatologic conditions like rosacea forever, the triggers for rosacea are usually spicy foods, alcohol, hot beverages like coffee and tea, sunshine. So all the good fun things that you're usually going to probably be exposed to while you're on vacation. Just kind of be mindful of that. Maybe when you're traveling, take some extra, caution with if you use some topical, prescription-based serums or creams for your rosacea. Bring them with you. Usually you probably don't need it when you're at home and you're in a more regulated, balanced routine. But when you're traveling and you have rosacea and you're eating foods that you usually wouldn't otherwise, just be more mindful of it. Melasma is the same thing. If you have melasma and you struggle with that, I actually have melasma. I struggle with melasma. I have my entire life. I'm also on the birth control pill, and I also love the sun. I'm in Italy now, but I live on the beach and I surf with my kids, and I'm in the sun all the time. But to really keep my melasma at bay, I have to use my religious use of vitamin C derivatives, and then when I have to, of course, I laser and I do clear and brilliant and things of that nature. But taking my helio care, photo protecting, you can't protect your skin from having these changes sometimes in different environments. And when you're going to an area that's sunny and you do have melasma, just be really good about your photo protection and bring some type of non-hydroquinone or hydroquinone skin brightener, and take your helio care. So just kind of knowing what your skin is more prone to and assuming that that's going to worsen when you get to where you're going to be traveling, and being prepared for that is really important. I think the most important tip is just not to deviate from what your skin is used to. Bring your full skincare regimen and just be prepared. And it is hard work to maintain healthy skin, but it's definitely worth it in the long run. I remember yesterday we were just hopping off the boat and swimming up to these amazing little cafes and having a glass of wine and having some snacks, and I didn't have to worry about covering up my blemishes with makeup or hiding my melasma or hiding my acne, which I would have otherwise if I was getting off my routine. But having healthy skin that you don't have to worry about, and just being able to jump out of the ocean or lake or pool or whatever is the best feeling in the world. So it does take time, it does take hard work, but it's a lot easier than having to pile on makeup every day and hiding your blemishes. So I hope this helps you guys. I wanted to get content out even though I'm traveling, and I felt that this was appropriate for the situation that I'm in right now. But I'll be back next week and in the office, and I will never stop producing content for you guys, whether I'm on vacation or not. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you soon. Grazie.
Grazie.
Grazie. I'm gonna keep the camera up here. Arrivederci.